And hello and welcome to this episode of the Vox Talk. This is a season 3 Vox Talk, and I'm delighted to say we've got an extraordinary guest dialing in from, well, he was supposed to be in Nottingham, but it doesn't have to be in Nottingham now. It's dialing in from Belper in Derbyshire. So wherever you're watching this, whether it's morning or afternoon, please do send through your comments and your questions, and he'll be happy to respond, I'm sure, at any point. And we hope you enjoy this talk. This one's for all those mums and dads out there that might be thinking, how do you get your young musician, your young person to the right course so that they're happy? So, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the amazing Calvin Medcalf.
Hello. Nice to be here. Great to be here.
Thanks, Calvin, and really do appreciate it. So, where are you actually dialing in from today?
So I'm dialing in from my home in Belper in Derbyshire. I left Nottingham just before Christmas, just before the second lockdown, and I haven't gone back yet, and I don't think I'm going to go back for the rest of this term at least. So I'm enjoying it. I've got my little desk area, very cluttered as you can see behind me, but no, I've kind of settled down now, I think.
Oh, that's amazing. And yeah, I know you're going to tell the viewers at home what you're actually doing, but it's strange not being at university when that's such an intrinsic part of building new networks and new communication skills. Are you finding it's all right with the IT in Belper? Are you able to stay in connection with all of your friends?
It's funny you say that, because our Wi-Fi in our house, we live in a big old house, so the walls are very thick, and our Wi-Fi has been particularly bad. In fact, so bad that I've switched my laptop onto my mobile hotspot to make sure that the kind of quality is all right. But overall, it's difficult. I know a lot of students are struggling having everything completely online, everything on Microsoft Teams, or having to watch lectures online. But the good thing about it is our lecturers are there almost all day, every day. They're adding more hours in so we can go and speak to them if we have problems, and we understand each other very much. I know that there are some students in other universities whose lecturers don't engage as much with them, but at Nottingham, especially in my case, our lecturers are so good at talking to us regularly, seeing how we're doing, because this is a uni year like no other. There's never been one like this, so kind of we need to be reassured that things will get better, and they will get better.
Yeah, I totally agree. And actually, in a funny kind of perverse sort of way, I think it's democratizing access to great teaching. So I think your tutors, because obviously you're going to tell us about your course in a minute, but the teachers or the tutors you have are exceptionally good at Nottingham. And so that means more and more kids are going to be able to access it through online platforms like we are today. So, in a weird way, I think it's going to be a better world once we finish. If it's all right with you, could you just tell the viewers what you are doing, or who you are and what you're doing at college?
So I'm a university student. I'm a third year university student at Nottingham. I study American Studies and History. Originally, I did a foundation year, which I'm sure we'll get onto a little bit later. And that essentially meant that my grades weren't as good as I hoped to get into Nottingham, which I really wanted to do. So I did an extra year out at Nottingham, learning all sorts of key skills. And then I was ready to enter full university year. So I'm in my third year 4 at the moment. So on my final year next year, and onto the world of work after that.
Yeah. And what course are you actually studying?
It's American Studies and History is my full course name now. I started on history, but I wanted to get that American side in. I have family from America, so that kind of felt like quite an important strand for me to do personally.
I think that's cool. And did you have to take or what A-levels had you originally chosen were going to be the ones that you needed to go onto this kind of module?
My A-level choices were quite odd. I impressed myself somewhat in GCSE with managing to get an A in maths, and I thought, I'll do A-level maths. Big mistake in hindsight. I'm not a mathematical person. I scraped a D both in AS and A2. This is when they did AS levels, so that was not good for me. I did history, which I loved. My grades weren't amazing. I think I got a C in AS and I got a B in A2, which I was very happy with, but still not an A, which I kind of hoped for. And then I did French. I'd spoken French kind of since year 7 in my school, and again, my AS grades weren't brilliant, but I really made an improvement. So I decided, I'll take the challenge, and I finished with a B overall in A2. So they weren't the grades I could get straight into Nottingham, but they were the grades where a foundation year would take me. So it worked out in the end, I think.
Yeah, I think that's really important to know as well, that actually, some of the most inspiring people around the world, the people that we talk to on a daily basis, and not necessarily the ones that get A star at year 9, A star at year 10, A star at year 11. They're the ones that have got a bit of life about them. I've got a friend who went to Cambridge on 2 E's because she was a British Olympic gymnast. And actually, she's a brilliant
Yeah.
solicitor as well. But it was the other things that made it really interesting for her. And I actually think some of the life skills she picked up on the way are really super useful. You mentioned that you did a foundation year. So I know
Yeah.
some of our parents might not even know what a foundation year is. Is that something that's in between A level and degree?
Sort of, yeah. It's almost like a building block up to a full degree. I'll preface this by saying that foundation years are woefully underrepresented in kind of university literature. They're starting to grow a little bit more, but when I joined, I found it very hard, and I was very lucky that I came upon it, because if I hadn't come upon it, I wouldn't have even known that they did something like this. So they're starting to roll them out more, not just for arts and humanities, which is what I did, but for science, for medicine. And they really, they are this kind of middle stage between A level and university, kind of preparing you for university life and the quality of work you'll need to succeed kind of in your first, second, and third years.
I think it's really useful. I'm funny that you said that it's not very widely known. I think that's true. We know that there are some colleges of music out there, so it exists for music as well, that you can go and do a music foundation year before you go and do your music conservatoire thing. So our good friends at Leeds College of Music, they run one, which is very popular, but only regionally. Nobody else knows about it around the country. And so, I think that's good. And I think from a parent's point of view, that might be watching this and they've got young people who are, working hard, and they might be malaffected because of the COVID. They've worked really hard, but the results that they get this year, who knows what they're going to say when they go to university. That actually,
absolutely,
there's a real benefit of knowing that there's other routes to the course that you want to get to. So, I mean, I don't know if you've got 2 seconds, but what was it like when you realized you didn't get your A levels, but then, actually you're probably in a better position having done the foundation than people who went straight into the course. So I think you may be at an advantage.
It was a difficult day, being honest, on A level. I know that there'll be a lot of students who had the same experience as I did. I'd seen a massive improvement since year 12, but it was still not the grades I needed. So I quit my UCAS application at that point. I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'd already set up like a gap year anyway, so I decided I would apply during my gap year. Found that when I found the foundation year, I looked at kind of what the course would cover, and whilst it didn't cover anything like massively subject specific for me as a historian, there were so many other skills which I could then put on a CV. That's what another good thing about foundation years is that they prepare you for a career as well. So I did a full year module just on critical thinking and reflective learning, which is, and they say employers look for critical thinking as like one of the major skills. I did one about important thinkers throughout time. I did one about creativity and what it is, what its essence is. What I would say is I would encourage you to look at foundation years, because like you said, anything could happen with grades this year, and they're just such useful things to fall back on, even if it's just your insurance option. It's so useful. And like I was a bit apprehensive at first as to whether, because I had offers to go to unis straight. I didn't have to do a foundation year. So I was a bit apprehensive as to, was this the right choice? But after doing it, and in fact, like the moment that I moved on to my first year, I realized that what I'd done in my foundation year was vastly more helpful to me than not having done one at all. And I know that people my age who didn't do one have struggled a little bit in that transition period.
I think it's incredible. What you've just said there is absolutely the way I'd feel about it. The people that I know that did a foundation year have enjoyed their university experience so much more because they were better prepared. And actually, it's not about the bit that you're at uni. It's the bit that when you're after uni, like you said, you're critical thinking. You're actually getting a jump on where you go next. So, with a view to the future, have you got any particular aspirations? I know you're super into American history, American politics, and that. Do you see yourself going there for a while?
I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to do something to do with American politics. It's just such a fluid thing at the moment. There's so many different um, aspects you could work with. Although I think that my aspirations at the moment stand more with the politics and kind of civil service of this country. I'm much more interested in looking at kind of starting a career here in the UK and then possibly moving out. But graduate schemes are very hard to come by in that field. So it'll be a year of preparation next year. But I have the skills. Like I said, I can put them on my CV, and I wear my foundation year with a badge, like a badge of honor. You know, I can say, look what I did, essentially.
Yeah, man, I really love that as well. And I think it's the resilience that makes makes us feel so proud about, people who've chosen your path like yourself. And, evidenced by what I think is just behind your left shoulder. It looks like there's a little notification for academic achievement or something. What's that?
Yes, it is. In fact, I will very quickly grab it off the wall there. So this was my pride and joy of my first year. It's a little academic award, and this kind of was really useful to me because it proved that I could do it. So after A levels, I felt quite low. I felt like, oh, if I can't do A levels, so what's going to happen at university? And after doing that, and after raking in some very good grades in my foundation year, I got this award, and then that told me, look, doesn't matter what you did in A levels, doesn't matter what happened in the past. You're here now. You're doing this now. You're doing good now. Yeah. And that kind of morale boost has carried me all the way through. So in fact, in about 8 minutes time, I'm getting another grade back. It'll be kind of 50% of my module, so it's quite a big grade. But yeah, even this week I've been getting back first class grades, and I'm just loving it. I'm riding a high right now, and all of it is down to the foundation year kind of preparing me.
I'm so proud. I think it's absolutely amazing. And, this is a really good message for any of the viewers out there that if something doesn't quite go to plan, just don't panic. There's so many different routes around there. And I think it's the message you've said today has been one of the best so far for this season. Let's finish and wrap it up with, have you got any nice memories from music, either music with us or music at school, or any lessons that you sort of learned through music, that resilience, the might be scared to take a solo and then go about it again. There might be something.
Yeah. I'd say I had some really amazing years at band. I started from hot shots at the very beginning, and I moved my way up. I think I settled around about jam. That was where I left off. But yeah, the resilience, I would say, was a big part of that, and confidence as well, self-confidence. Having a Christmas concert and you or Stu kind of calling me out and saying, your turn to solo now. And even if I wasn't fully confident with it, and even if my solo wasn't that good, I felt like, oh, look, I'm doing something. And then people would give me a clap afterwards, and it felt really good. But I'll kind of add on to that very quickly, kind of something more generally about music, is I found, especially at uni, music is so useful for winding down. You can spend hours and hours a day reading, writing, and stuff like that. When you finish your day, I stick. So I'm still a very big fan of jazz, and I will stick some jazz music on my Spotify, and I will just sit in my desk chair, kind of slouched back slightly with my headphones in, and I'll just kind of let everything go. So I think music is so good to unwind and relax with. I think most people would feel that way.
Yeah, man, a great advice and lovely. And for all the people that are viewing and listening today, Calvin speaks the truth in so many ways. And I'm sure if you want to connect with him, he wouldn't mind if you reached out to his LinkedIn profile, and that will be on the biography just below the little bit of text. So,
of course, yeah.
Thanks very much, Calvin. We appreciate it immensely. For everybody else, hope you've really enjoyed this talk. I think it's been super. Make sure you click the subscribe button and, follow on for the rest of the season, and get in touch because we want to know of your success stories. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you all soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks, man.